therapist Kristen Jacobson.
Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the anxiety therapist, and today I want to talk about comorbid anxiety and depression. Comorbid is basically just psychobabble for occurring together. This means that we have both anxiety and depression. They can occur simultaneously, or they can kind of tag team and we'll experience more depression at one point, more anxiety at another point, but they ultimately prove to be very challenging for individuals. So I think a lot of times we think about them separately, but there's so much overlap, and so many of the clients I work with experience depression in addition to anxiety. In this video blog, I'm going to delve into their intertwined world. We're going to look at signs to look out for and explore some of the reasons behind why they show up together, and just leave you with some practical strategies for managing it or seeking help. Starting with some signs to watch out for, recognizing comorbid anxiety and depression really goes beyond the textbook definitions. So I want you to just kind of keep an eye out for these distinctive signs, whether in yourself or somebody else. The first one is rekindling joy. You may have lost interest in tasks that you once really relished in, and then the thought of trying them again really feels overwhelming. The second is the day-night dilemma. During the day, you might feel down and really low, but then at night, you sort of feel restless, and this keeps you from getting a good night's sleep. You might have some insomnia, frequent night wakings, things like that. The paradoxical aches. So this refers to your motivation to sort of get up and move has really dwindled, but your body aches as though you've just completed this intense workout. Then we have the social ambivalence. So you're unmotivated to socialize, but then your mind can't help but overthink what others might be thinking about you, if they think you're blowing them off, things of that nature. The temporal paradox. So time seems to stand still on the one hand, but then on the other hand, we sort of have this impending sense of doom that looms over our thoughts. Then we have the caring paradox. So you don't care as much as you used to, but then you often find yourself overthinking every scenario. And then finally, the emotional roller coaster. So there's a lot of overlap of irritability, restlessness, and exhaustion that can come in waves or be kind of unpredictable companions of both anxiety and depression. So why does comorbid and anxiety and depression occur? Understanding the origins of comorbidity is vital for effective treatment. We want to consider a few different contributing factors. One is the biological interplay. This is going to refer to genetics, right? What's in your DNA, your brain chemistry, and any hormonal imbalances that can lay the foundation for both conditions to coexist. Then we want to look at the environment. We may have had a history of traumatic events, or we might be experiencing persistent stressors that might act as triggers and propel this anxiety and depression into action simultaneously. Finally, we want to look at thought patterns. There's a lot of overlap in terms of the negative thinking patterns that lay the groundwork for anxiety and depression. When we have these negative thinking patterns, they reinforce each other. It can really make those feelings of negativity just feel that much more profound. So finally, I want to share some tips for managing comorbid anxiety and depression. Here are some sort of actionable strategies. Again, they're very simplistic and rudimentary. These are things that you would have to kind of research more or seek out professional help for, but this is just to kind of give you a little bit of a framework for things that you can take action on. So the first, of course, is seeking professional guidance. A therapist like me can be your compass throughout this storm and really kind of help to offer you some tailored strategies for your unique situation and your unique experiences and feelings. Second is medication when needed. Not everybody needs medication, but if it's something that you feel like you just are having a really hard time functioning on a daily level or on a daily basis, then medication can really help to kind of take the edge off, so to speak. So you can talk to your primary care physician. A psychiatrist or a psychiatric nurse practitioner is somebody who really specializes in psychotropic medications, so that is an option if need be. Embracing self-care, prioritizing exercise, mindfulness practices, and getting healthy food and enough sleep, right? Those are going to be the foundations to make sure that you're functioning optimally at a very basic level. And I know exercise can be so challenging when you're feeling depressed, but even just going for a 10-minute walk outside. Something very simple and basic can be extremely beneficial. Then we have leaning on your support network. So you might feel kind of unmotivated to socialize or confide in friends or family about your struggles, but almost like forcing yourself to socialize can really be a lifeline for you. So it's sort of acting opposite of how you're feeling, right? A lot of times when we're experiencing a depressive episode, we have to act in a way that's opposite of how we're feeling. So what we want to do is isolate or sleep all day or whatnot, and we have to activate behaviorally in order to get out of that. We also want to minimize stressors. I know there are a lot of things that are out of our control, but really just kind of take inventory of what your stressors or triggers are, and where it's possible, really just try to eliminate those. If it means maybe outsourcing some things or delegating or saying no to things that you don't necessarily want to participate in, things like that. Break your goals into bite-sized pieces. Really focus on setting realistic, achievable goals, because oftentimes we'll overshoot and then feel disappointed that we haven't met our goals, and then that just kind of adds fuel to the fire of this negativistic thinking. So don't be too hard on yourself if progress is slower than expected. Sometimes with depression in particular, even just taking a shower can feel like a lot of effort. So really celebrate your small wins. And then finally, knowledge is power. Educate yourself about these conditions. Once you have an understanding of what is going on, then it really can empower you to manage them more effectively. I share a lot of information about anxiety. There's also a website called the Depression Project, which is really helpful in understanding depression and really helpful for loved ones in understanding depression if a family member or a friend or someone is going through it. This is one resource I recommended to one of my clients, and it really helped her understand what her husband was going through. And just keep in mind that recovery is a journey. It's not a destination. A lot of times we think there's a finish line, and once I get here, everything will be okay again. And it can be cyclical and it might take time, but with the right approach and support, you truly can find relief and feel like you're regaining a sense of control over your life. So I hope you found this helpful. If you do like my content and you want some more insight on anxiety and other mental health concerns, and just to stay up to date on the latest tips and resources, be sure to subscribe to my email list, and we'll let you know where you can find the link. And be sure to, ask any questions or leave a comment if something stood out to you or if something wasn't quite clear. I would love to hear from you. All right, until next time, I'll see you then.